let's bring you a Google map of where specifically that building is. Now, this is the Prestige link. And just zooming down a little, this is where the U.S. Embassy is. This is a runabout around the U.S. Embassy. And from this junction right up until here, that is what you call the Prestige link. And just zooming in a little, this particular area is where President John Dramani Mahama has been staying. And that's where he says that he wanted to stay or remain. But information we have gathered right now indicate that he wouldn't be able to stay there following the fact that a lot of storms seem to have, arisen because he said that the current administration may not be able to settle based on the developments in the last few days. So we are going to have a conversation with a group that was quite disinterested in what the president had said and then had raised a number of issues regarding why the president should be allowed to stay there. They are called the Dagmbe Forward Movement, and they seem to have raised concerns. In fact, they have described it as immoral, President John Dramani Mahama's decision to go ahead to stay there. So we will bring you that particular letter signed by the president himself and copied to the Otumfuo Seitutu, the king of the Ashanti Kingdom, in a bit. So stay with us. The letter is coming up shortly. All right, so in a bit we'll put that particular letter on the screen for you so you can also read alongside as we do that. But that is the latest information coming in. We have confirmation from the current administration run by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo saying that they have received that letter and are saying that they are yet to respond to the letter. So this is the letter, and I'm going to read it verbatim. It says that the letterhead says, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, former President, Republic of Ghana. The letter is dated Tuesday, January 10, which is actually yesterday. And it goes on to say, Mr. President, official residence and office, I refer to our agreement on the above subject matter and wish to inform you that I have decided to formally withdraw both requests to continue to stay at my current place of residence, number 3, Prestige Lane Cantonment, and also to use bungalow number 6, 3rd Avenue Ridge as my office. It would appear that these requests threaten to mar the spirit of cooperation with which we, as co-chairs of the Joint Transition Team, have managed the smooth transfer of power from my administration to yours. I believe that this controversy is absolutely not needed in these early days as your government settles into office. I do recognize that these are facilities that are conventionally extended to presidents that leave office, and I am also mindful of the approval by the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana on Wednesday, 4th January 2017 at its 22nd sitting on the 3rd meeting of the 4th session. You will recall, Mr. President, that contrary to the erroneous impression created by some persons in government and the interpretation given to the formal letter submitted on my behalf by Mr. Julius Deborah, this was a follow-up to an agreement we had on my choice of accommodation and office. I had never requested to purchase the property. My request is therefore humbly withdrawn. As always, my family and I wish you well in your endeavors as you strive to consolidate and advance the gains made by successive governments. Kind regards, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, signature there, former President, Republic of Ghana. And then it's copied to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, and then also the Asantehene Otumfuo Seitutu the second. All right, so we have in studio the group that seem to have had issues with President John Dramani Mahama's request. But as it stands now, what then does that mean for their request? We have been joined by Honorable Emmanuel Ajeboy. He is a leading member of the Dagmbe Forward Movement, and they say that they would resist any attempts to give President Mahama that particular edifice where he said he wanted as his retirement package. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. Yeah. All right, to start with, it seems that this major decision by the president put spade to the whole debate.
Exactly.
What does that mean to you and your group?
Oh, well, first of all, let me say good afternoon to your cherished viewers. I think this letter brings to an end all the problems that have arisen. Just a lawyer just came to say that this thing is in contravention to the Transition Act, and definitely, if we are all law-abiding citizens, he being the president or former president should be able to abide by that. Secondly, if all outgoing presidents would be allowed to stay in their own residence, what about President Akufo-Addo? If he's going to occupy the Flagstaff House building, if he's going, can he say that it should be given to him? No. And then if we allow him to occupy number 3 Precinct Link, it means that we have to construct another building for the president or the vice president. Where are we going to do that? We are going to build in Accra, at a prime area. Are we going to be giving our lands to
So your concern actually is the fact that if they all keep claiming, in probably a few years,
it will come to a time when other presidents will not even get land in Accra. If we start constructing, going up and down.
But is it not going to be the same? Because part of the transition law says that, or the emolument law says that persons who are leaving office can choose a place they want to stay, and then either sometimes they are given land and it is constructed for them, or a building that is already existing, then it is either bought or renovated for them. It is still in Accra, isn't it?
Well, the law or the constitution didn't specify exactly whether it should be in Accra.
Okay, but under former President Kufuor, we know that he says one in Accra and one in any other part of the country.
He said that, but the constitution didn't say so, that it should be in Accra. Yeah, the constitution says that the president should be given an accommodation, and then he should choose a place where he's going to have his office. That is all. We can decide that, okay, if you want an office or let's say accommodation, why don't you go to your hometown? We can build an edifice there for you, and that one will rather even create some sort of environment for your people. You understand? This is my own suggestion. Right. But the point is, we shouldn't allow this thing to happen.
What would the Dagmbe Forward movement have done? Because this is an agreement between an outgoing president and an incoming president, people in government. If so, they had agreed that, well, based on the service you have rendered to your country, we think that it is okay for you to stay there.
Well, the Dagmbe Forward movement is a pressure group. You understand? So we'll put pressure on government to rescind its decision. That's all. So if now the former president has decided that, oh, okay, I'm not going to occupy that residence again, fine enough. That is exactly what we want.
You think that probably he must have gotten wind of your threats for which reason?
When we were deciding on these issues, as I said some time ago, we've also sent mercenaries to be talking to people, or be talking to him, to understand that you don't need people to demonstrate to your residence before you decide. You just honorably have to give up, and nothing will happen, and you retain your dignity. You understand me?
Okay.
So that is the issue.
All right. So I would have to leave it here. But so then, now that he has rescinded, what's your next line of action? Any major thing you're going to be doing?
No. The point is that we've seen the letter. In fact, I had wind of it. I haven't seen it when I was coming. Now you showed it to me, and I've seen it. So we'll just wait for him to act. By packing off, really see vacation, the vacation of the premises. Then of course, we're not going to fight anybody. We'll just leave it there.
Okay. All right. We thank you. We thank you for joining us in studio and then at least clarifying what your position was. We've been speaking with Honorable Emmanuel Ajeboy. He's a leading member of the Dagmbe Forward movement, and they were resisting or protesting President John Dramani Mahama's former President Mahama's decision to stay in that particular bungalow, which was at cantonment. So now that the president says that he's no longer interested, they are also relaxing or putting down their concerns, hoping that everything would move on as normal. But thank you very much once again for joining us. This is still Midday Live.